Whips, is this trailer for Verdansk a real thing? Can I react to this? And can you post it on Tim too? Tim, what? Oh, it's a minute. We can also talk about how awesome Verdansk is at the same time. Oh, it's just CGI? Yo, I just saw Rug's video on your last meal. Holy shit, you eat a lot. Did Rug make a video out of that? Okay, man. It's just a minute of CGI. I just find it so weird that okay. When they said, when the leak said that, like, based on how Verdansk does, we might not have a Warzone 3. Does that feel like an ultimatum to you guys? And that's what it felt like to me. It just kind of felt like if you don't come play Verdansk, we're not making Warzone 3. Like, it's almost like a threat, which is insane. Because listen, I'm going to say something really bold here. Warzone is what is currently, in my opinion, carrying Call of Duty. Warzone Rebirth, that whole, it is carrying, not carrying the whole game, because there is a lot to it. There is a lot to it. So maybe not carrying all of, I'll say this. Zombies and Warzone are, in my opinion, the two, let me speak for myself. Zombies and Warzone are the two fun things to play in Call of Duty. And I see a lot of comments that say Warzone killed Call of Duty. I see a ton of TikTok comments and stuff. I completely disagree with that, bro. I think Warzone saved COD for a while. I think the creation of Warzone brought something new and different to the same kind of Call of Duty cycle that we always experience. And now Warzone's in that Call of Duty cycle, and it's going the wrong direction, unfortunately. Saying they're not gonna add it if it ain't good, or like if they don't get good player base on Warzone and Verdansk, they're not gonna make a new one. I mean, the problem is they got so far away from what it was, man. It was so good. Listen, can I tell you guys something? I'm gonna tell you something. So years ago, I had a dinner, and I remember. Tyler talked about this dinner, and I remember in that dinner, Tyler was going in. Tyler was just going in on the game. And to be clear, this is like after Verdansk is the new Warzone. And I remember just I kept talking about the Gulag and how cool that mechanic was. And there were people at the table that worked for Call of Duty that thought the Gulag like was almost a bad addition. And I was like, why? And I talked about, do you guys remember when the new Gulag came out? They had a variety of guns. And it was random. I talked about how the OG Gulag, right? It's like mano-y-mano. You have all this RNG in a battle royale. And they made this one moment where it's just mano-y-mano, even playing field, who's better, right? I talked about that. And the dude looks at me and goes, oh, so you don't like RNG in battle royales? Like, that's the comment he took from what I'm talking about with the Gulag. It's like, bro, are you listening to what I'm saying? I said, you made something dope and you got away from it. That is the point I'm making. You took something that was really good and you put twists on it that didn't have to be twisted, and you made it completely different. And they got away from this base of Verdansk, right? This base that was like this new, fun, very innovative, I'll even use that word too, innovative, like battle royale. There was no Gulag mechanic or anything like that until Warzone, right? And then that came out, and it was something dope that they had in it. And when I heard that, I mean, when that dude, when he made that comment to me, I was like, all right, man, like you don't get it. You don't get it. And it just told me, you got someone that's pretty high up here that has that mentality, and they're just, it's like a flat line. They're like, whatever, like we're going this way. And they went that way, and they're still going that way. And look where they're at. I actually do believe this, man. I think Call of Duty right now is mainly looking at money. That's all that has to be what they're looking at. And which I get it, it's a business, right? They're looking at it like a business, you know? They're looking at it like, is our business making enough money? And there's gotta be some benefit to it. But I'm assuming they're looking at Warzone and they're losing money on Warzone now. It's a damn shame. Like I get upset when I think about it, because we had something so special and it got so far away from what made it special. It really sucks. I don't know. If I'm honest with you, I don't know if anything can save Warzone right now. I hate to admit that, but we had something so fresh and new. And like I said, bro, people talk about the Warzone versus multiplayer, which, just to be clear, we're all the same community, right? We're all the same Call of Duty community, you know? And I think we all agree we want the game to do well, right? Is that a fair assessment? We want Call of Duty to be awesome because this is a pillar game in the gaming community, in my opinion. I played the first Call of Duty when I was like 12, man, 13. But I see this like constant just like butting of heads, like, oh dude, Warzone is what killed this, bro. Multiplayer is what killed this, bro. Like these like this, listen, this BO6 was a very good Call of Duty, and it's not doing that well. Really think about that. I would argue this is one of the better Call of Duties we've gotten in a couple years, and it still ain't doing that hot. I don't know how you fix it. I don't know. I mean, obviously you have Verdansk coming back, but it's like, how, I don't know, whatever. I'm like yapping now, but Rivals killed BO6? No. I don't think anything will kill Call of Duty, for the record. Even if, like, I see a lot of people talking about declining player base, stuff like that, right? But I don't think anything will actually get rid of COD, man. Nothing. You know what I mean? Everything has to come to an end. I just never, that dinner where Tyler went off about that 2v2 Gulag, and we're talking about the Gulag, and the people at the dinner on the Call of Duty side were making comments like that. Tyler, listen, Tyler, you guys have seen Tyler. Imagine Tyler at like a business dinner. Like, not even a business dinner, just a dinner with very, very important people in Call of Duty. And just basically Tyler talking to the Call of Duty business people or the devs or whoever was all there, like how he talks to me. Just, can you picture that? Yeah, it didn't go well. That was a great meal though. That was a really good meal. I messed with that steak I got there. That was a good steak. It's just, listen, Tyler was telling it how it is. He was talking about the 2v2 Gulag. The Gulag was a big moment in that dinner that I remember, because I was saying how good that first Gulag was, and I didn't like the RNG of the 2v2. You got a robot that comes, really sit there and think about something like that, right? We had something that nobody complained about. Do you know anyone that complained about the Gulag in the first Warzone? Does anyone? I don't know a single person that was like, man, they could really rework the Gulag and have it different. Right? I don't know a single person that said anything about that. I think a lot of people thought the Gulag was a solid thing they added that didn't have to be touched, you know, didn't have to be changed. And then the next Gulag we get, it's 2v2, random guns, and there's a robot jailer that comes in with a minigun and armor. Like, where does that concept even come from? You had this thing that was so good, and then they just fully tweaked it and made it completely different. And ever since then, Gulag, in my opinion, has kind of been ass. I think they're back to but you know what's funny? Now they're kind of back to what they were. But the problem is they went somewhere else. Sorry, I'll stop yapping. I felt good to yap though. Like I said, man, Call of Duty, it'll never die. The only thing that can actually get rid of Call of Duty is Call of Duty. But specifically with the Warzone thing, it really does make me upset that the devs are kind of like, well, maybe not the devs, whoever is making these decisions, it might not even be the devs, is basically saying, hey, if Verdansk doesn't bring the player base back to Warzone, we're not making a Warzone 3. That sucks. That sucks, because Warzone was something so special that they had and made so many good memories for a lot of people, myself included, and they got so far away from it that now they're bringing back that nostalgic what they made, and if it doesn't bring enough of us back, we're not making another one. And in my opinion, a Call of Duty without Warzone is not gonna, if you think COD's dying with Warzone, wait till you see Call of Duty without Warzone.